They're in the gate. And they're off. Candy on top, a very smooth beginning. Blur's Day at the rail is quicker, though, and Blur's Day takes a clear-cut advantage into the first turn. Oak Milk Latte comes right after the front runner. Candy on top, taken in hand, joined and passed on the outside by Smart Monique into the first turn. Then it's Elegance Code in fifth. Rider having some difficulties with Tap It Rock, steadying down at the rail. In the meantime, Shocking Gray goes by that rival. Another length and a half back to Tis My Princess, who's 5 in front of American Conquest. They swing on to the backstretch behind Blur's Day, leading the way 3/4 of a length. Oak Milk Latte has the Richard Barton horses 1-2 as they head toward the half-mile pole. Smart Monique in the clear, 3 wide third, and Candy on top tucked in neatly at the rail in fourth. They're followed by Elegance Code on the inside of Shocking Gray. Tap It Rocks bottled up down at the rail. Tis My Princess in the orange is 5 or 6 lengths off the lead, and another 4 lengths back to the trailer American Conquest. Blur's Day leads them toward the quarter pole. Pressure now from Oak Milk Latte and Smart Monique, 3 across the course. Joined 4 wide by Shocking Gray as they turn for home. Then Candy on top, Elegance Code, Tis My Princess on the far outside. They're in the final furlong. Shocking Gray on the outside makes a wide, sweeping bid under a hand ride to take command. And it is Shocking Gray opening up. Down at the rail, Smart Monique fighting hard, but will settle for second. Shocking Gray wins it by a length. Smart Monique second. Tis My Princess finished well in third. Then it was Elegance Code and Oak Milk Latte. And they're off. Fast start for Bruto, Wink and a Dream matching strides in the early going, and now Bruto extends and opens up a length. Wink and a Dream is in second. Down at the rail, Nolo Contesto with Fireman Dan in between horses, and Seattle Breakout outside of that pair. Big Splash second to last, and Derby Storm at the back with a half mile to go. And it's Bruto in front by a half length. Fireman Dan goes to engage second, a length and a half. Nolo Contesto at the rail, a clear third. Wink and a Dream losing ground fourth. Seattle Breakout hard-ridden fifth. Gapified to Big Splash and Derby Storm. At the 5/16, it's Bruto in front, maintaining the lead about a half length to Fireman Dan in second. Nolo Contesto in striking range third, followed by Seattle Breakout top of the stretch. Fireman Dan on the outside within about a half length of Bruto, who's digging in gamely. Nolo Contesto trying to find a seam down on the inside. Bruto fully extended. Fireman Dan just keeps coming at him. Bruto, Fireman Dan to the wire together. Bruto, Juan Hernandez, Fireman Dan, Kent DeSormo. Bruto on Bob Baffert's birthday. Fireman Dan was clearly second best. Then it was Nolo Contesto, Seattle Breakout, and a distant fifth to Big Splash. Minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off. Topolina is out alertly and vies for the lead. Gypsy Lynn comes away in second, followed by Good Buju third. La Aqualili on the far outside, running with the boys, is fifth at the rail, and Crimson Rose in between those two. Then Fried Asparagus, Majestic Steps, and Adams Creed across the course, 3 in front of Roses and Candy. Topolina takes him into the far turn, leading 3/4 of a length to Gypsy Lynn second, Good Buju third. Running with the boys, fourth and close up, only 2.5 or so off the lead. Followed by Crimson Rose, La Aqualila on the outside. Roses and Candy trying to launch a bit from last. White Blinkers far outside. They turn for home with Topolina still to catch. 2-length lead on Good Buju. Running with the boys has had a sweet trip. Angles out and is coming nicely in between horses. Running with the boys right to Topolina at the 16th pole. Running with the boys, Topolina. Running with the boys takes the lead under Hector Barrios and wins it. Very nice work. Second to Topolina. Good Buju was third. And then it's a photo for fourth, a three-way photo. Looked like it went to Crimson Rose, who was in between horses, battling with Gypsy Lynn and La Aqualila. They're in the gate. And they're off. Awkward beginning for 10th Street Dawn. Even for the rest of them, El Potente came away with some early interest. Hydro Frost in the yellow on the outside is quicker than all. And Famous Star comes through one from the rail. Distorted Math is up and on the pace, tugging a bit from fourth, but only 2 lengths off the lead. Katona is next, and the distant trailer is 10th Street Dawn. Less than a half mile to go. Hydro Frost on the outside. El Potente at the rail. El Potente takes the lead and now moves about a neck in front. Distorted Math, 3 wide in third. Famous Stars got some run at the rail in fourth, a length and a half off the lead, looking for a little seam and finding it now. And here's Famous Star coming to engage with a quarter of a mile to go. El Potente between horses. On the extreme outside, Katona has surfaced. Down at the rail, Famous Star takes the lead. There's an eighth to go. Famous Star, Distorted Math. Outside, Katona continues to grind away. Katona under left-handed urging, puts his head in front with a 16th to go. Distorted Math trying to match strides. They'll come for the wire together. And Katona in a very tight photo. Those noses are bobbing very close together. He and Distorted Math in a tearjerker. El Potente finished third. "23 minutes to the..." They're in the gate. And they're off. Mongolian Memory and Rebel Posse, the first two out, with My Summer Dream close up in third. Here's Gimme the Loot, hustled up sharply along the inside, and Gimme the Loot and Manitowish are now head and head with Mongolian Memory. Those three virtually across the course. Rebel Posse, My Summer Dream at the rail. Then it's Commander in mid-pack, 6 off the lead, 2 clear of Canderel. Gap of 4 to Mezet inside Hembry around the far turn. And Gimme the Loot is the leader by 3/4 of a length. Manitowish second. Then it's Mongolian Memory in the white colors trying to come back for more. Commander looking for racing room while making a bid. On the far outside, Rebel Posse is next. Canderel, white cap is on the far outside. My Summer Dream gets a sweet spot, and here he comes. My Summer Dream takes the lead with a furlong left to go. Canderel finishing well far outside. Commander gets room, but it is My Summer Dream. Jeff Mullins Jr. with 3 and a triple for Juan Hernandez. My Summer Dream easily. Commander second. Manitowish third. Photo for fourth, Mezet and Canderel. Feeling graceful to the outside. And they're off. Very slow beginning for Shanghai Sunrise. It's a fast one for Feeling Graceful, Vegan between horses, and Big Shamrock down at the rail. Queen Molotov is in fourth as they pass the 5/8 pole, moving up now to be a joint second. They're followed by Rose Harbor, 4 lengths off the lead and about 3 in front of Shanghai Sunrise. Down the back stretch, and it's Feeling Graceful under a stranglehold at this stage, leading it by a neck. Big Shamrock moves through on the inside, and now those two quicken to the 3/8 pole. A length and a half, Queen Molotov, 3 wide in third. Down at the rail, Rose Harbor is in fourth, now taking third. Vegan is very hard to see just outside of her, and Shanghai Sunrise is 5 off the lead as they pass the quarter pole and turn for home. Feeling Graceful, Big Shamrock along the inside, posing a big threat, and they arrive at the 8th pole with Big Shamrock now taking the lead. Feeling Graceful a half length back in second. It's 4 more to Shanghai Sunrise battling for third as Big Shamrock asserts herself late and pulls away for a convincing 3.5 length win. Feeling Graceful second, Shanghai Sunrise third, and then Rose Harbor. They're in the gate. And they're off. Phenom is going straight to the front. Christmas Surprise has some early gas. And now here's Secrets Told. Angel Sense is up and on the pace as well. They're followed by Stella Noir, fifth and now fourth. Aqua's Sea Form Shame is next. The two trailers are Gold for Kitten, and Founder's Day is at the back of the field. Angel Sense asserts herself and opens up a length on Secrets Told in second. The favorite Phenom is well spotted third as they pass the half-mile pole. Stella Noir down at the rail in fourth, 5 lengths off the lead. Then comes Christmas Surprise, followed by Founder's Day, who's racing on the outside of Aqua's Seaform Shame, and Gold for Kittens 12 lengths off the leaders as they have a quarter of a mile to go. Angel Sense pursued by Secrets Told, who's within a length second. 3 more back to Phenom, who's losing ground with every stride. Passed now by Stella Noir, and it's Secrets Told who takes the lead. Center of the course, Christmas Surprise is starting to finish very nicely, and Stella Noir is in the mix too. Secrets Told, Stella Noir, Christmas Surprise. Here's Stella Noir surging to victory for the DeSormo brothers. Christmas Surprise second. Secrets Told third, Founder's Day and Phenom. Wildcat to complete the line. They're in the gate. And they're off. Gianna's Wildcat, Starship Defiant. These two hook up right out of the gate with Roman Empress a length and a half, now 3 behind and losing ground third. Glorious Spring comes through along the inside and snatches the third spot. Vel on the outside, now fourth. Roman Empress and Irish Wahini is at the back of the field. Gianna's Wildcat speeding away with the pedal to the metal has opened up a 5-length advantage at the 3/8 pole. Starship Defiant patiently handled second. 2.5 more Glorious Spring third in a strung out field. Irish Wahini making some headway on the inside of Vela, and then Roman Empress. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Gianna's Wildcat still has a 2-length lead on Starship Defiant, who's called on now. Glorious Spring, Irish Wahini now kicking in on the far outside. There's a furlong left to go, and here comes Irish Wahini with all the momentum on the outside. Starship Defiant, Glorious Spring fights on as Gianna's Wildcat has dropped out. Irish Wahini or Glorious Spring? Irish Wahini and Armando Aguilar running them down to win 3/4 of a length. Glorious Spring, Starship Defiant, and Vela. The last one will be Consternation. They're in the gate, and they're off. Bally Dancer is sprinting out for the early lead. Lizzie D has some early gas as well. And on the outside of them, Ice Queen moves up to be right in the thick of it early on. Sweet Heidelberg and Noble Hearted fifth in the early stages. They're followed by Dolly May racing on the inside of a very wide Consternation. A Crown for Kitten is in some traffic down at the rails, 6 lengths off the lead as the field swings on to the backstretch. Outside of her, Dolly May is passing a couple of rivals. Cheerful Charm and Noble Hearted are right together. The pink sleeves of Beachgrass, 7 or 8 lengths off the speed, and 3 more to Witch Moon at the back of the field. It's busy on the front end. On the outside, Consternation engages Bally Dancer past the half-mile pole. Those two are now stride for stride. It's 2 lengths back. Dolly Mae, Sweet Heidelberg is in that mix as well. About 2 lengths off the lead into the far turn. Ice Queen is with that pair. Cheerful Charm is only 4 lengths off the lead at this stage. Down on the inside comes a Crown for Kitten. Lizzie D is in between horses. Beachgrass moving up outside Cheerful Charm. Noble Hearted is next. At the back of the field, Lizzie D and Witch Moon. They are at the top of the stretch. And the battle continues on the front end between Consternation and Bally Dancer. 2.5 more. Ice Queen is finishing with interest within 2 lengths of the top pair. And then Cheerful Charm past the 16th. Consternation is just in front. Consternation and Umberto Rispoli to take the finale. Bally Dancer was second. Ice Queen finished third. A rallying Witch Moon on the inside of Cheerful Charm, who completes the super high five.
The best news you might hear all day is that we are racing today here at Anita. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge, and we're delighted that you decided to join us. We're in between storms. Yesterday, we received almost 2 inches of rain. Of course, we couldn't race, but today we can. That's because we're in between storms, as I mentioned. The next storm is not due until tomorrow. Unfortunately, we have to cancel racing tomorrow already, but the good news is today we have a fantastic 8-race card. All of them on the main track, no turf racing. The scratches are somewhat minimal. We'll find out what those are in just a minute. I was raised in Chicago, so I've been to a lot of sloppy tracks in my lifetime. Our seminar guest today was raised in South Florida. He's certainly been to a lot of sloppy tracks in his lifetime as well. His name, George Ortuzar. Giorgio, welcome to the seminar. Happy Sunday.
Pleasure to be here on a beautiful Sunday in between we're like in the middle of the eye of the storm, right? So it's going to be a beautiful day, exciting racing, and I'm happy to be here.
And as you're talking, George, we can look behind us at a live shot at the main track, and you can see the tractor's still at work. The track maintenance crew has been working around the clock 24 hours, of course, keeping us open for business. Hats off to them, because it's not an easy job, particularly with the amount of rain we've received since opening day.
Yeah, we've had a plethora of rain, and as you know, Dennis and his crew, they always do such a fantastic job. The track is actually listed as muddy, which we don't see too often here. So let's see if he finds some horses whose father was a mudder and his mother was a mudder.
We're not expecting any more rain, so hopefully the track condition will be upgraded to good. As you can see currently on the screen, it was muddy earlier with changes, but I believe that it'll be fast at some point during the day. I talked about how you grew up in South Florida, and you've been on the seminar before, George, and we've talked about your days at Univision. You were a Latin star way back when, and you worked with somebody who's really achieved greatness, so to speak, and that's Sophia Vergara. What was she like when you worked with her at a very young age?
She was, first of all, incredibly beautifully stunning. You know, some people look better on TV or worse on TV.
Kind of like you and I.
Yeah, but she was in person. She was lovely, very professional, and boy, she really took off. She was a pleasure to work with. We were at Disneyland a lot together, Disney World. We worked on a lot of specials together, so that was fun. I worked with a lot of cool people in my tenure there. 10 years at Univision, some great stars I got to work with. One of the cool. There was a hotel called the Fountain Blue. It's a big,
I've heard of it.
Pretty big hotel. And every week we did a show there, live show. And I introduced a band called Menudo. Have you ever heard of Menudo?
Of course.
Well, security wasn't too good at the Fountain Blue. So I was the MC, and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, hey, Menudo. They came on, and it was like a Beatles or something.
Everybody rushed the stage?
Rushed the stage. There was no security, and they were going bananas. And I was like, wow, it was incredible. But I get to meet some great superstars in the Spanish language, entertainment world, and so it was fun. 10 years of fun there.
It sure was a lot of fun, and of course you worked with a lot of people, but you also went to the racetrack. Our track condition today is good, as you're looking at the graphic. No longer muddy. Nope. But when you were going to Hialeah and Calder and Gulfstream Park, we had some muddy and off-track conditions. What are your memories of going to the track? I know sometimes you worked hard, but a lot of times you played hard and kind of exited stage left and went to the track.
No question about it. Just about every job I've ever had, even when I was in school, horses have been a huge part of my life. I mean, I remember going after school and grammar school, they'd go play basketball, and I go, I got to go bet Eddie Maple in the third race. I'll be right there. I was like 13. And then in every job I have, even at Univision, I would, racing form. I'd study. I wanted to be at the races so bad. In some jobs, I had to sneak the racing form so my bosses couldn't see I was studying it. And when I first got a job here, and it was my job to look at the racing form, I still was kind of like hiding it. I was like, oh, no, I don't have to. It's my job now. But loved going to Hialeah. The first job I ever had in my life was at Hialeah. And I remember runners like Crypto Clearance, who loved the mud and then some sloppy tracks. So
Leroy Jolly was a trainer there. I mean, there were so many people that migrated down to South Florida for the winter, not only from the East Coast, but the Midwest as well. Joe Bolero, Early Fires, trainer-jockey combination. I mean, just such great memories, right?
Just fantastic memories. The Flamingo at Hialeah was a big, that was a big race, And but hey, now we got fantastic racing here at Santa Anita. I'm so happy to be a part of it. We got fantastic racing, and our sister track as well has got the Pegasus coming up. So we got some good races to look forward to.
We've got a lot of sister tracks, as a matter of fact. Not only Golden Gate, our sister track up north, but also our sister track down in South Florida, Gulfstream Park. And you might or might not know about the new wager that's being implemented over the last couple of weeks. It's the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. It combines races from both here at Santa Anita as well as Gulfstream Park. Let's take a look at the graphic for that particular sequence today. You can see today's sequence starts with Gulfstream Park, race 8 at 12:37 our time. So you roughly have an hour and 9 minutes, an hour and 11 minutes, I should say, in order to get ready for that $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. As you can see on the graphic, it's offered every Saturday and Sunday, combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita. It's got a low 15% takeout. And of course, there's 2 races in that sequence here from Santa Anita. Both races 3 and 5 will be part of the sequence. And of course, we'll talk about those particular races a little bit later in the seminar. George, what is it that you do here at Santa Anita? I mean, I know you're kind of the Hispanic ambassador. We can find your selections every day on the website, absolutely free of charge. What are some of your responsibilities here at the Great Race Place?
Well, yeah, my official title is Hispanic ambassador, and that's what I started at. But then, slowly they've increased my duties, and I'm more like a marketing, more in the marketing department, trying to get entertainment. I write in the program, obviously in English and Spanish, so that's good. And we got some great events coming up. There's a taste of Miami coming up on February. I'm looking forward to that. We got a Cuban salsa band and merengue. We got lechon asado, roasted pork. We've got rice and beans. It's going to be a wonderful, and I certainly invite everybody to go to santanita.com and try to sign up for that. It's going to be fun. A taste of Miami.
It's on track here. What's the date? Do you know specifically?
It's February 4th in the Chandelier Room. So I'm really.
That's a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
It's a big day of racing, as a matter of fact. There's a lot of big races both at Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita that day. Yep. So it's going to be a fun day. And like you said, on track, a little bit of a Cuban flavor as well.
A little Cuban flavor.
You're a big Theragraph type of guy, aren't you, when you do your handicapping, George? In other words, you kind of consult those and let that be your ultimate decider and who you like in the race.
I am. They're my favorite tool. I swear by them. I love the Theragraph, and I use that analysis all the time. And we'll get into it when I do the analysis. But I love the numbers. They take into account so many different factors. I like them better than the buyer numbers, and I think they're an excellent tool to have in your handicapping toolbox.
You use the daily racing form as well as Theragraphs. Do you see discrepancies in the numbers? In other words, sometimes do you see a horse with a higher buyer speed figure that maybe doesn't have the lowest Theragraph number and try and capitalize on that?
Certainly, that's what you look for. You look for differences there, and that's one of the things. Even when buyer numbers before they came out, you had them in
Racing Times.
The Racing Times. So, you were trying to find great numbers that maybe the general public doesn't know. And now, since everybody's got those buyer numbers, trying to find a good Theragraph number that people might ignore because they're just looking at the buyer numbers, that's where you try to get some value.
We're going to try and find some value and find 8 winners on today's 8-race all-dirt card. Currently, the track condition is listed as good. Expect that to be upgraded throughout the day. But before we get any of the selections from George Ortuzar, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Sunday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is good. We now have the early changes. Please be advised that we are distributing posters of the 2022 Secretariat Vox Populi Award. The winner, Cody's Wish, and we have a special limited edition of the poster signed by Danny Mulvihill of Godolphin and Kelly Dorman, Cody's father. Those are available right now while supplies last in the East Paddock Garden. Get yourself a poster of the 2022 Secretariat Vox Populi Award winner, Cody's Wish, in the East Paddock Garden right now while supplies last. In the first race, we have a super high 5 carryover of $6,425. Just a blinker note in race 1. Race 2 is the start of the early pick 4 with a blinker note. The Rainbow 6 starts with our third race this afternoon. The jackpot pool starts at $62,000. Scratch number 5, American Admiral. In the fourth, beginning of the late pick 5, blinker note, and an overweight for 4, Deep River, 2 pounds over. Fifth race, start of the late pick 4, scratch number 6, Ring General. Race 5, scratch number 6. In the 6th race, scratch number 3, Classier, and with that scratch, there's no high 5 wagering. The 7th is the Grade 3 La Cañada Stakes. No changes. Start of the golden hour, pick 4. In the 8th, scratch 2, Krahenbull. Scratch 8, Spirit of Makena. Scratch numbers 2 and 8. There's no high 5 wagering. We do start the golden hour double in race 8. And Santa Anita Park's odds maker, John White, has issued a revised morning line for race 8. Golden hour pick 4 starts with the 7th. Golden hour double begins with the 8th. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. The track is good. We had no turf races scheduled today. They'll be at the gate for the opener in 58 minutes at 12:30. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today, George Ortuzar, best known as Giorgio.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with George Ortuzar. He is the Hispanic ambassador here at the Great Race Place. He also does handicapping on a daily basis. He works in the marketing department. He tries to bring celebrities and VIPs out to the track as well. And George, we were reminiscing about some of the tracks we've been to throughout our lifetime. Certainly the South Florida tracks are very memorable. But let's face it, the Great Race Place is named for that reason, because of a reason. You probably fell in love with it the first time you ever came here, just like I did. There's probably some horse players and handicappers out there that have never been there. What would you tell them to encourage them to come out here?
It's just a fantastic day. It's picturesque. The background is one that few tracks can mirror. It's just incredible. And what I've found many times, people who come for the first time and they spend the day here, they go, it's generally the same thing. I can't believe how wonderful this is. I had no idea it was so exciting and so beautiful. And the horses are majestic. The track is beautiful. You're going to have a great day if you come out to Santa Anita. And we got great food. We got great wagering. The people who work here are very friendly. It's just a wonderful day here at the Great Race Place.
And it's a good blend, George, right? Because of the old and the new. The track was built in 1934 when basically there was nothing in Arcadia, California. And now almost 90 years later, we've got a lot of new additions as well. We've got the suite level. We've got Front Runner. We've got Eddie Logan. We've got the box seat area. We've, of course, got the picturesque paddock gardens, Clocker's Corner. The list is endless, actually. And we've worked here a long time. I'm almost positive I've not been in every single nook and cranny at the racetrack. You go up and down the stairs and you discover new rooms and new places all the time.
You find them all the time. There's it's really and this is like, there's so many different departments, so many different people putting this. It takes a village to put together such a great show. And it is a great show here at the Great Race Place.
Yes, it certainly does. And of course, hats off to all the people that make the races go, like the racing office and the gate crew and the track maintenance crew. And then, as you mentioned, all the people behind the scenes, the marketing department, the broadcasting department, the mutual department. I mean, it takes a lot to put the show on. And we're proud to be perhaps one of the best racetracks anywhere in North America, if not the world. All right, enough publicity now, George. Down to business. We got to pick some winners so we can pay the bills. And we kick things off here in race number 1, which offers the popular 50-cent early pick 5. But we've also got a super high 5 carryover. That's because nobody hit it on Friday, our last day of live racing. The super high 5 carryover, $6,000 in this first race, where we're sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the main track. As I mentioned, all 8 races today are in the main track. For maiden special weights, 3-year-olds, a field of 7. Bob Baffert has 2 in here, including the morning line favorite in the current betting choice, number 1, Hijazi, who exits the Grade 1 Malibu. That was a 2-turn right race. Now he's running in a 1-turn sprint race. He's adding Lasix as a newly turned 3-year-old. What say you about race 1, George?
Yeah, Hijazi certainly looks like the goods, and you don't have to go too far. Look at the tote board. He's 2-5. They did pay a handsome price of $3.55 million for this beautiful colt. Definitely well bred. Gary Young, I think, one of our clockers helped recommend the purchase of Hijazi. And again, way overmatched in the American Pharaoh, grade 1. The Theragraph numbers are head and shoulders above the rest of the field here. I'd be really surprised. I mean, he lost to Cave Rock, certainly one of the better 3-year-olds in the country right now. Even, Speedboat Beach, that was another Bob Baffert who was just really, really fast. So, but this field, I think he's finally found a field that he can get a victory on. And I'm going to be singling him into my early pick 5. I'm sure a lot of people will. The other one that's kind of intriguing to me was number 6, Sully. Sully did show speed on debut, and John Sheriffs usually doesn't have him cranked up fully for the debut. So I expect improvement from Sully, as you mentioned, first-time Lasix for the young 3-year-olds that are turning all turning 3 this year. So I think Sully is going to be the one to catch, but I think Hijazi will catch him today in the first race.
George, you've been mentioning singling your top pick in this first race in the early pick 5. What are some of your favorite wagers? I mean, are all of them your favorite wagers, or do you kind of focus on maybe trifectas, exactas, pick 5s? Like, kind of, what's your approach when you walk into the track?
I'm always looking. I think it's hard to grind it out at the track.
100%.
I think what you've got to do, and wagers like the pick 5, pick 6 on carryover days and mandatory payout days, you got to try to hit a big score to hold you over. You can't be betting, $10 to show, and it's hard to win. So my favorite bet's the pick 5, because it's usually a substantial difference between the pick 5 numbers and the pick 4 numbers.
It is. Even if the favorite wins the first leg.
Even if that's the beauty of it. Even with a favorite or even 2 along the way winning, you still have the potential to make a lot of money. But one of my New Year's resolutions, wagering-wise.
One of many New Year's resolutions? Okay.
But from a wagering standpoint, is many times I'll put together a pick 5, and maybe along the way I like a 10-1, 15-1 shot, and he'll win. And I'm like, I'm set up for a pick 5 and lose, and it's have nothing to show for it.
I get it.
So one of my resolutions was continue to bet the pick 5s and the pick 4s, which I love. But if there's a long shot along the way, don't forget to bet a few bucks at least to win on him, so that if he does win and you were right, you don't walk away empty-handed.
Or sour, for that matter, right? It's the worst feeling in the world when you isolate a long shot and then have nothing to show for it. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4 sequence, 1 mile, fillies and mares. $10,000 is the claiming tag. A field of 6, number 3. A Broken Breeze from the underrated and very cagey Andrew Harris barn is the 8-5 morning line choice. So says John White. What say you?
I say there's another underrated trainer in this race, and that is Reed Saldana.
Yes, sir.
Reed Saldana is crushing it, especially first off the claim. I mean, every time he claims a runner, I am looking to that runner to do very, very well. So number 1, Sacred Beauty, who's not the morning line favorite. I mean, it's 5-2, so it's not like, I'm giving you a 10-1 shot. But I like Sacred Beauty a lot better than a Broken Breeze. And in my pick 5, race 3, 4, and 5 to me were a little bit more complicated. So I'm starting single. And if I don't have at least 1 or 2 singles in a pick 5, I don't feel comfortable betting it. So, but I am singling Sacred Beauty as well. First off the claim, Reed Saldana winning over 30% with a stellar ROI of over $4, which is really strong. Comes in with the best last race Theragraph number, a nice 10. And, brings them here for a reason, not the season, as the old saying says from Golden Gate. And I think Sacred Beauty is the one that I'm going to be singling, and I like a lot. A Broken Breeze claimed 2 back by Andy Harris, who's fantastic. The Candy Man is doing great, Edwin Maldonado. So hats off to him. I expect to see this one competing as well. But I'm singling the filly, Sacred Beauty, and I like it 1-3.
George, we've spent a lot of time talking about trainers. We've already mentioned Bob Baffert, John Sheriffs, Andrew Harris, Reed Saldana. We haven't talked about the jockeys at all. Now, we don't want to specifically talk about who you might prefer, who you might discount, but nevertheless, the jockeys are an important pilot of the animal and make sure that they get to the winner's circle. Do jockeys have an impact on who you might play?
No question about it. I love certain angles, like first-time stellar jockey in the colony.
Let's say Flavian.
Flavian, yeah. First-time Flavian, Juan Hernandez. I'll give them some extra credence, and it does pan out, where you have a jockey who's maybe, okay, but hasn't really, didn't have the confidence, hasn't been running well, and then that runner goes to a Flavian Prado or a JJ. Man, I look for a market improvement there, and I got to hand it to JJ Hernandez. My hat's off to him. He is really showing that he is the goods. This is a strong colony, and he's at 30% on the win end. he's really showing his stuff against some really good jockeys.
Juan Hernandez has made a huge impact since shipping down here from Golden Gate a few years ago. Make no mistake, Juan has the ability, but his agent Craig O'Brien, who's been around the block once or twice, certainly is getting him on a lot of live mounts. And then you mentioned right now, it's still early in the meet, but he is dominating the jockey standings. And the people who are in second, third, and fourth are not chopped liver. Frankie Dettori, Umberto Rispoli, Flavian Pratt. You know, those guys are winning, but Juan is just in a different league right now.
He's doing phenomenal. And you said Craig O'Brien, not only a wonderful agent, but a wonderful guy. I've liked him for many years. Just a really nice guy. His son as well, Brandon, but I'm really happy for him. He's one of the guys you could be genuinely happy for Craig.
Race number 3 on the 8-race card begins our 20-cent Rainbows Pick 6 sequence. Multiple winning tickets on Friday. That means that the jackpot single ticket carryover now up to $62,000. That money plus whatever is wagered today will be yours if you're the only winning ticket in today's 6-race sequence. And we kick things off going a mile and a 16th on the main track. We've got a field of 5 after the scratch of number 5. Maury Line favorite number 2, holding the loot from the Mark Glatt barn. Mark Glatt has had a relatively quiet but very successful start to the meet. 5 wins from 25 entries so far up to this point, winning at a 20% win clip. He's way under the radar. Nobody's talking about the Mark Glatt horses, but they're all firing so far this meet.
This meet, last meet, the previous meet, Mark Glatt is a solid trainer. A man of few words, but boy, he lets his actions do the talking for him. He really is a spectacular trainer. And like you said, he's already got 5 wins. His runner holding the loot comes in with the best last race Theragraph number of 4, which is a strong number. But in this race, I'm using the all button because with the scratch of number 5 American Admiral, it's just 5 of them. And they're relatively close in Theragraph numbers. And Hero Status is going to be my top pick. Hero Status hopefully will live up to that name because he's been favored in every single one of his races. He's the favorite in every race. He only has 2 wins to show for it. So I'm hoping he's going to break through, and it could easily be a Mark Glatt exacta to open it up. So I like the 1 and the 2. And since we're talking about trainers, if I can just give a shout out.
Anything you want, my friend.
To a young man who I've known since he was a little boy, pretty much. Such a nice young man. And now he's become a really good young trainer. And that is Jeff Mullins Jr. Holy cow.
Pretty auspicious debut to the start of his career, wasn't it?
Spectacular day. Hats off to him. Congratulations. He is really a good guy. And boy, got the hat trick. So just wanted to give him a shout out.
Jeff Mullins Jr. saddled 3 runners on Friday's card. All 3 hit the winner's circle. Race number 4 begins the 50-cent late pick 5 sequence. 1 mile, maiden claiming 3-year-olds in for a $62,500 tag, a field of 7. Number 1, Looks Rare, a second-time starter from the Doug O'Neill barn, ridden by Frankie Dettori, adding Lasix is the 2-1 Maury Line favorite. Give us your thoughts on race 4, George.
I'm trying to beat the favorite. I'm not going to use the favorite in any of my bets, really. And you know, I'm either right or wrong. That's what's great about the horse racing. When I first looked at this race to do Santa Anita today, I was like, oh, I didn't know they carded a turf race because I thought it was a turf race. I was looking at the PPs. Every one of these runners, more or less, has been running on the grass. And those are the ones that I concentrated on. So hopefully they could transfer that nice grass form into the dirt form. Now, one of my favorite angles is maiden special weight droppers. That from maiden special weight, they drop to maiden claiming. And you've got a number in here that started, like Looks Rare, started in maiden claiming, didn't win, now stretching out to a mile. So it's trying so many new things. I'm going to try to beat that one. Some with some strong numbers are number 3, Russell's Hustle. Papa Padromo, another one's got 4 wins. He's doing fantastic. Shakes things up with Russell's Hustle, puts him on the dirt, adds blinkers. Of course, gets first-time Lasix as a 3-year-old. I think this one had some problems in the last race. If you go look back, prior to that, it was a grade 3, so they thought enough of this colt to put him in the Zuma Beach. So Russell's Hustle is going to be my top pick to start the late pick 5. But I'm also going to use runners like the 7, No Expectations, also moving to the grass, dropping from maiden special weight to maiden claimings. They also add blinkers, and certainly has got a little bit more speed than Russell Hustle, but those are the two I'm going to be concentrating on.
It's a common angle in handicapping, George, but you make a good point. The droppers from maiden special weight into maiden claiming are taking probably the biggest drop in class, because in the maiden special weight races, whether they're on the main track or the turf course, those are potential future stakes runners.
Right.
And when you drop down into the maiden claiming level, more than likely most of those runners are not future stake stars. So that drop in class is so precipitous that it really kind of is like the light bulb angle, where horses can improve dramatically just simply because they're facing easier competition.
Yeah, and a lot of times, even if the form doesn't show it, like he's ran 8th, and that still, like you said, the light bulb turns on. It's such an easier competition, and it many times pays some decent dividends. So you add to the fact somebody who has a little bit of form, it gets maiden special weight, and I don't like one maiden special weight and a drop immediately. I want him to give him a couple of chances, and then they go, he's just not going to cut it. And so I like that a little bit better instead of just one maiden special weight in the drop.
And in race number 4, take note, even though all of these 7 runners have performed before, they all had Lasix today, as we've been talking about, because they're all newly turned 3-year-olds. That could also impact their form, their potential form reversal. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 4 sequence. 6 furlongs, $20,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. 1 scratch the 6. Ring General leaves us with a field of 8. Favorite down on the bottom for Cesar de Alba, the former quarter horse jockey who's now training thoroughbreds. Sausadi is the 5-2 morning line favorite. I know I didn't pronounce that name correctly, but Frank Miramati will correct me later. Having said that, do you like number 9 in race number 5, or are you looking elsewhere?
I do. I think Sausadi on his best day is the fastest runner in here. Cesar de Alba, even though he doesn't have a win yet here at this meet, he's excellent. Calls on Ricky Gonzalez, who does very well with front runners, and that's kind of his specialty. So I could see Sausadi, however you pronounce that one, to go straight to the lead. And like he did win 2 back, that was a pretty strong performance, but a pretty wide open race. I think there's many ways to go. Like, there's a wonderful opportunity. I love it. It's the $40 handicapping contest.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's on track. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm saying it's just I don't understand why more people don't take advantage of it. It's such an easy way to get in, and you can literally parlay that $40 into $1 million. I mean, you really can parlay. You get a spot.
It's like a satellite in poker.
It's like a satellite in poker. And you're trying to look for separators. Maybe someone like the 3 My Harbor's Dream, just claimed by Val Brinkerhoff. And, Val's been doing some good work. So I think this one's got a chance at a nice price. Contreras has looked good with a couple of wins, but that contest, I love it. And I highly recommend it because it's $40, $10 the entry fee. And then you're just betting the other $30.
Like you normally would anyway.
Anyway, please take advantage of that. Great opportunity.
And that's available on track. You can register at the Thoroughbred Center every Saturday and Sunday, like George said. Just cost you $40 to play, $30 of live bankroll, $10 entry fee. The winner every day gets an entry into a $500 live money tournament, which will be held here the Sunday after Pegasus World Cup Day at Gulfstream Park. And as George mentioned, you keep winning these tournaments, and all of a sudden you're playing for at least $1 million. It's a cheap and easy and fun way to get involved for a lot of money. Race number 6, we're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Allowance optional claimings, non-winners of 2 other than. We've got a field of 6 after one of the Bob Baffert runners scratched, and that would be number 3, Classier, will not compete. The morning line favorite, number 2, Hopkins, who has lightly raced, a bit of a disappointment, but could turn it around today. Are you expecting improvement for Hopkins?
I am, and I think he's going to run well. Overmatched in the San Antonio against some of the best in the country. Country Grammar, Stiletto Boy. These Country Grammar ran against Flightline. So there's no Flightline in here. There's no Country Grammar in here. This is a much easier spot than that previous, and even in that previous, showed really good speed. You got that guy Hernandez.
I've heard of him.
Good, right?
He's choking you up. He's so good.
Yeah. So I think Hopkins with the cutback. I think maybe they tried that a little bit too long. I think he looks like a sprinter type, and sprinting 2 seconds and 2 firsts. Nothing wrong with that. So I think Hopkins has every right to take these wire to wire. I think a good runner to possibly play in that $40 tournament is somebody like Clem Labine, who does have 2 World Series wins. So that's the human Clem Labine. but Liberosio, sharp trainer. This one in a field full of speed. There's a lot of speed in this race. And the speed of the speed, I think, is Hopkins. But a lot of people can get fried in a speed duel. And Clem Levine certainly is a closer in a field full of speed. Could get at least a piece, maybe even the whole shebang at a massive price.
Fair enough, George. One runner I want to mention as well is number 4, McLaren Vale, a son of gun runner. You can see that he started his career in the Bob Baffert barn, and he broke his maiden on debut and has some ability. However, he was sold at Keeneland this past November for $200,000 to Mr. Ronis and John Saddle. It'll be interesting to see how McLaren Vale does today, because certainly they plunked down a lot of change just a few months ago to get him in their barn. Race number 7 is our feature race on the card. It's the Grade 3 La Cañada for fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. Also, race 7 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4. That links our last 2 races here at Santa Anita with our sister track up north, Golden Gate. It always pays well. I'm sure you play the Golden Hour Pick 4 on a regular daily basis, because it is a really fun and exciting wager that way overpays the parlay almost on a daily basis.
I've bet the Golden Hour Pick 4 every single time, every day. I love it. It's as you mentioned, the payoffs are stellar for the price, and it concentrates on 2 tracks that I'm very familiar with.
Correct.
Where
and a low takeout, higher minimum is important, right? Because people can't do the shotgun approach and use the all button.
For sure. So I love that. The Pick 4, the overlooked Golden Hour Double as well. A lot of people overlook that, but the Golden Hour Pick 4 starts here in race 7. It's our feature race.
Before you give your selection, I want to walk down memory lane.
Okay.
Back in 1986, which is 37 years ago, not to date ourselves, but I remember this race. The winner of the La Cañada was none other than a filly by the name of Lady Secret, trained by D. Wayne Lucas, owned by Eugene Klein. Let's walk down memory lane and listen to Trevor Denman bring home Lady Secret in the 1986 La Cañada.
Lady Secret still going well on the lead though. Shy Wing being asked to come after her. They coming to the 8th pole. Here's the whip on Lady Secret. She's finding more. Shy Wing is out after at the rail. Northsider coming on late. Lady Secret reaching down deep and finding more though. Shy Wing chasing gamely, but Lady Secret can add the La Cañada to her.
George, you can tell that was 37 years ago. It was kind of black and white / color, but nevertheless, it's kind of it's a walk down memory lane. And Lady Secret, I mean, she won the distaff. She was spectacular. It just brings back so many memories. You could hear the crowd in the background, Trevor Denman on the mic. She was very, very special. She
was special. Her resume was just littered with some wonderful wins, and trained by the coach who's still going, man.
Still gets on horseback in the morning. All right, having said that, I don't know if there's any Lady Secret in today's rendition, but we got to find a winner. Who's it going to be?
Well, Bob Baffert, birthday boy, just recently got a win on his birthday, and he's just a wonderful trainer. That's all you could say. A little bit over matched, didn't really run great for Bob Baffert in the La Brea. But when this one has her running shoes on, she's tough to beat. She throws in some of the strongest Theragraph numbers in the race. She's inconsistent. That's the only problem. But if she runs her best, she's going to do well. Training up a storm leading into this race, even to that race. So, which is usually, Bob Baffert does, train them pretty fast. But I think it's under the stars race to win or lose. She's going to be my top pick. If for whatever reason she falters, Ganadora, who did beat her last time out in the La Brea, certainly has been working up a storm as well for Bob Baffert. If they stay out of each other's way, it could be a Bob Baffert exacta in the La Cañada.
6 and 3 in race number 7. So says George Ortuzar. Here's some useless trivia on number 6, Under the Stars. The dam of Under the Stars was trained by Jeff Bondi and cost $850,000 at auction. So certainly they expected big things from her on the track. She might not have delivered there, but she certainly delivered in the breeding shed. She also foaled Bodemeister, who we all remember also was trained by Bob Baffert. We close out the day and we close out the week in race number 8, which offers $5 Golden Hour daily double wagering that George Ortuzar alluded to. linking our last race here with the last race at Golden Gate. We're going 6.5 furlongs, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than 2 scratches. Scratch the 2 and the 8, leaves us with a field of 6. Now the revised morning line favorite is number 4, Augusta Melody, 5-2 on the revised morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, George, I wanted to show a workout courtesy of our friends at XBTV for the Invader number 3 Anarchist. This workout was on December 31st right here at the Great Race Place. It was a team drill that you can see. She's going to be down on the inside. She's working with another Doug O'Neill barnmate by the name of Petruccio, and Anarchist is going to be down on the inside. And why I wanted to show this this workout is not only because he's an invader, but also I want you to notice the difference in the motion in the 2 exercise riders' arms. You can see Anarchist down here on the inside. The exercise rider never really asked this horse for any sort of run, and contrast that and compare that to the exercise rider on Petruccio on the outside. It continues for the entire workout. Petruccio, under steady urging, never really gets by Anarchist. And meanwhile, Anarchist, the exercise rider, is kind of just sitting there like a statue, not really asking Anarchist for any sort of run off the long layoff, since we haven't seen Anarchist since July of last year at Ellis Park. I thought this was a tremendous workout. And this is one example, George, where I think, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com, as I mentioned, pulling up these replays free of charge really can lead you on to perhaps a really nice priced horse who I think is going to be a main contender in this nightcap.
So many of my friends absolutely love the XBTV workout, xbt.com. They're free. And as you mentioned, they're both going to get the same time, those 2 runners. And
world of difference.
A world of difference. So it really pays to look at them and make sure that, don't take them at number value.
And it's easy to use, xbtv.com. It's like going on Google. You just put in the horse's name and then up pops all the workouts. So it couldn't be any easier.
Yeah, it's really
and it's a great feature that we're proud to offer here at First Bet in Santa Anita.
Yeah, certainly take advantage of that. They really, and there you saw Anarchist, who's one of my 2 top picks, who looked fantastic in that workout for Doug O'Neill. Motionless was the rider on Anarchist.
Well, talk to us about who your top pick is.
My top pick is a runner who I was really impressed with at Del Mar. Number 1, Redline. Ran the best Theragraph numbers in the race, stellar numbers. And then the last 2 at Santa Anita kind of tailed off a little bit. They gave this one a little bit of a respite and comes back with DeTore, who certainly has looked good, having 5 wins. John Sadler and Mr. Ronas, one of the nicest owners you'll ever meet. Come back with Redline. I have a feeling it's a good number to maybe even in the contest, put this one in. Might pay a little bit of price. It's not going to be 6-1, but I think Redline's got a chance to revisit that great form that this one had at Del Mar, and I think he's going to run a big race. My second choice is Anarchist, who's also 6-1. So I'm going to be trying to beat the Tim Yachtine. Anarchist broke the maiden, and a lot of times once they break through, it's kind of like basketball. You see that ball go through the hoop, and then you feel confident. So broke through with a maiden victory. And a lot of times that's like, oh, so this is what I'm supposed to do. All right. And so I think Anarchist coming in here, first time in the Doug O'Neill barn, is going to do very, very well. And so I'm going to go 1-3 in the finale.
We always see the ball go through the hoop whenever we have George Ortuzar as our seminar guest. George, thanks so much for your time and insight today. Keep up the great work supporting Santa Anita. You're a pleasure to work with, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
All right.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Keep in mind, no live racing tomorrow, Martin Luther King holiday. Another storm expected here in Southern California. But the good news is that's the last of the rain. After the rainstorm disappears after tomorrow, no more rain here in Southern California for the foreseeable future. Next live day of racing will be on Friday. 9 races are going to be carded 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time Post. Thanks so much for watching. Next voice, you'll be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late program changes. Good luck, everybody, and have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is good. Here are the changes. The first race is the start of the early pick 5. There's $6,425 in the super high 5 carryover. Second race, just a blinker note. The Rainbow 6 starts with race 3. We have $62,000 in the carryover. Scratch number 5, American Admiral. In the fourth race, number 4, Deep River, 2 pounds over. In the fifth, scratch number 6, Ring General. In the sixth, scratch number 3, Classier. No high 5 wagering in race 6. Seventh race, the grade 3 La Cañada, is the start of the golden hour pick 4. There are no changes. And in the eighth, scratch 2, Krahen Bull. Scratch 8, Spirit of Makena. 2 and 8 out of the eighth. No high 5 wagering offered. There is a revised morning line. And the eighth starts the golden hour double. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. If you're on track, stop by as we're distributing posters of the 2022 Secretariat Vox Populi Award winner, Cody's Wish. There is a special limited edition poster, and they have been signed by Danny Mulvihill of Godolphin and Kelly Dorman, Cody's father. Still some left in the East Paddock Garden. Stop by and get one now. Post time for a first is in 27 minutes at 12:30. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. We have our Coast to Coast Pick 5 once again today. Every Saturday and Sunday, we offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5. The schedule beginning at 12:37, so we're about 34 minutes away. Starts with the 8th at Gulfstream. Low 15% takeout. It's a $1 wager. The Coast to Coast Pick 5 starts with the 8th at Gulfstream Park.